Guyger appears frantic in this body cam video.
A female cop killed an innocent in his own apartment. Amber Guyger was fired from the Dallas Police Department a few days after the shooting, when Dallas resident Amber Guyger put her key in the door of room number 1478 at the Southside Flats apartment complex. She started a chain of events that killed an innocent man and ended her career as a police officer. Guyger said in a court on Friday that she parked on the wrong floor because she was tired from a long day at work the night of the shooting. She said it wasn't easy to find the parking floors in her apartment building. In court, she played out how she got to the apartment door with her backpack, lunchbox, and police vest in her left hand. She also said that she heard someone walking inside. That night, Guyger said that she saw the door was cracked open. When she put the key in the lock, she said that the key opened the door to the dark flat. Guyger had said earlier that she had trouble getting her flat door to lock all the way. Lawyers for Guyger said Botham Jean, an accountant for the international auditing company, PricewaterhouseCoopers, was sitting on his couch when the door opened.
Former Dallas police officer Amber Guyger appears frantic in this body cam video. She told investigators she mistook 26-year-old Botham Jean for a burglar in her apartment.
First of all, wouldn't that set off a little bit of suspicion to where you would stop and say, hey, why's my door open? Why's my door ajar?
She opened fire. Moments later, you can see one of the officers begin CPR on Jean for 7 minutes, who is face up on the floor, bleeding from a gunshot wound.
Guyger said that she saw the outline of a person and yelled at him with her gun. The person was moving around and she couldn't see his hands. She also said that the man was yelling in an angry voice.
Did you hear anything as he was walking towards you?
There was a loud yell. He was yelling, hey, hey, hey.
Guyger showed the next part of the scene to the jury by holding out her right hand like it was a gun. Guyger said Jean was coming toward her when she shot. When her lawyer asked why she had fired at him, Guyger said she was afraid he was going to kill her. Guyger's emotional call to 911, in which she said over and over that she thought someone was breaking into her flat, was played by the defense lawyer. Guyger said she tried something like a little CPR, but she kept getting up to find out where she was and call 911. Guyger also said that she stopped CPR to text her lover and police partner to help, but it was too late. Amber Guyger was found guilty of murder on Tuesday after she shot and killed an innocent man eating ice cream in his own home in 2018 because she thought it was her apartment. It took 12 people on the jury less than 2 days to come to a decision. Amber Guyger was charged with murder.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Amber Guyger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment.
As they should.
She could spend anywhere from 5 to 90 years in jail. Megan.
Okay, before we go on to the next case, I don't understand. I've been tired. I've worked 24-hour shifts before, and I've been so tired that I've crashed my car, fell asleep, crashed my car. I've been so tired that I did that. But I've never been so tired as where I go to the wrong house. I've never been so tired where I up Drake on somebody and knock him off. I've never been that tired. So for her to say she was too tired, she walked in. The door was ajar already. I would have stopped in like, what? Hold up. Why's my door open? Looking around, right? Wouldn't you? Let me know in the comment section. And while you're there, if you wanted to get more time, hit that like button.
In Hall, a 27-year-old police officer, internet sensation overnight. She was fired for allegedly having sexual relations with 6 of her co-workers.
Stupid!
Overall
6!
Disappointed with our police department.
Hopefully not all at
happened.
once, right?
Megan became the new target of internet trolls and was one of the most humiliated police officers on the planet. However, the story of a police officer sleeping with her entire department is what we all have been sold. What if I told you there is more to this tale than what we have all been poisoned
I'm sure
with?
there's a lot
An
more.
intelligent student, a dedicated officer, and a loving wife. What exact events conspired for Megan to take part in such a shameful sex scandal? What was her story behind this atrocious act which destroyed her career?
I gotta say this. Men, my men in my community, watch out, man. Watch out for your woman. Don't say, I'm not saying don't trust her, but watch out, because these women be sneaky sometimes.
To unravel that, we need to first understand Megan's life a little further. Born to parents Jeremy Watley and Rachel, Megan was the perfect child that any parent could ask for. She grew up in rural Tennessee and graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology. She was passionate about acting and wanted to make a career in the same. But destiny had a different plan for her as she joined the police and law enforcement. She married her college sweetheart, Jedediah Hall, who currently serves as a deputy. The couple recently bought their first family home in Manchester in March last year. The picture painted here would have us all believing that Megan had the perfect life. However, the truth was far from it. Struggling with heavy drinking and mental health struggles, Megan was fighting a battle of her own from the very beginning. When the case of Megan being involved in sexual activities with her coworkers was investigated,
looked like the only woman
some
working
disturbing
there.
facts about her mental state came to light. In one such scenario, Hall once unloaded her weapon and dry-fired the gun at her head so she could hear what it sounded like. It was also discovered that she voiced harmful thoughts and on multiple occasions repeated that she should not be alone. The situation of her mental health got so out of control that it also started affecting her relationship with her husband. The couple had serious marital issues and were on the verge of a divorce, but their relationship had to face the ultimate test when this news was revealed.
Shocking findings of sexual misconduct rocked the Laverne Police Department. 5 officers and the police chief all fired.
One of those officers,
Damn, even
Megan
the
Hall,
chief
became the
got
face of the
fired.
scandal and the target of nationwide ridicule.
The entire police department was shocked when this news came to light. Megan was accused of having intimate relationships with 6 officers in the Laverne Police Department. Sergeant Lewis Powell, Sergeant Ty McGowan, Officer Juan Lugo, and Detective Seneca Shields were the prominent names that came into the scandal. The investigation into these alleged affairs began on December 12th after Laverne Mayor Jason Cole received information from a whistleblower. He quickly asked the city's human resources director, Andrew Patton,
Blow
to
them
investigate
whistles,
further
boy.
on the situation when this unimaginable story came on air. In her first investigation interview with Andrew, Megan admitted to having sexual relations only with K-9 officer Larry Holiday. "We had intercourse. There were a few times, but it was a long time ago," she said. She dismissed rumors of a fling with Sergeant, a dedicated officer and a loving wife. What exact events conspired for Megan to take part in such a shameful sex scandal? What was her story behind this atrocious act which destroyed her career? To unravel that, we need to
And her
first understand
relationship,
Megan's
right?
life a little further. Born to parents Jemery Watley and Rachel, Megan was the perfect child that any parent could ask for. She grew up in rural Tennessee and graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology. She was passionate about acting and wanted to make a career in the same. But destiny had a different plan for her as she joined the police and law enforcement. She married her college sweetheart, Jedediah Hall, who currently serves as a deputy. The couple recently bought their first family home in Manchester in March last year. The picture painted here would have us all believing that Megan had the perfect life. However, the truth was far from it. Struggling with heavy drinking and mental health struggles, Megan was fighting a battle of her own from the very beginning. When the case of Megan being involved in sexual activities with her coworkers was investigated, some disturbing facts about her mental state came to light. In one such scenario, Hall once unloaded her weapon and dry-fired the gun at her head so she could hear what it sounded like. It was also discovered that she voiced harmful thoughts and on multiple occasions repeated that she should not be alone. The situation of her mental health got so out of control that it also started affecting her relationship with her husband. The couple had serious marital issues and were on the verge of a divorce, but their relationship had to face the ultimate test when this news was revealed.
Shocking findings of sexual misconduct rocked the Laverne Police Department. 5 officers and the police chief all fired.
One of those officers, Megan Hall, became the face of the scandal and the target of nationwide ridicule.
I'm sorry. If I knew that all them other guys were messing around in that pool, I wouldn't go swimming in that thing.
The entire
Ain't no
police department
way.
was shocked when this news came to light.
Ain't no way.
Megan was accused of having intimate relationships with 6 officers in the Laverne Police Department.
6.
Sergeant Lewis Powell, Sergeant Ty McGowan, Officer Juan Lugo, and Detective Seneca Shields were the prominent names that came into the scandal. The investigation into these alleged affairs began on December 12th after Laverne Mayor Jason Cole received information from a whistleblower. He quickly
Good. I'm
asked the
glad
city's
somebody
human
told
resources
on her
director, Andrew Patton, to investigate further on the situation when this unimaginable story came on air. In her first investigation interview with Andrew, Megan admitted to having sexual relations only with K-9 officer Larry Holiday. "We had intercourse. There were a few times, but it was a long time ago," she said. She dismissed rumors of a fling with Sergeant Lewis Powell a handful of times, but in the second and third interviews, she confessed all of her deepest secrets.
100%. There's truth in sarcasm, like 100%, and rumors. Somewhere the rumor got
Megan
started.
admitted that she had a months-long affair with Powell and even had intercourse while on duty.
You came in, asked him to come over to help you work on something.
Get paid to
He
smash.
came over, and then there was a that was given, and then he went back to work, and you went home.
Hall further confessed to getting drunk at a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party where she sang karaoke and fell down a flight of stairs before having sex with Magliocco in the bathroom of a colleague's boat. However, her defense to this incident was the peak of absurdity. My bathing suit was a little loose and it fell off, she tried to justify. She also included some squirmy details.
Her bathing suit fell off. Oh, she just tripped over and fell on the poo-poo too, huh? She tripped over and fell on the schmeat, didn't she?
It was about an encounter where she, along with Magliocco and his wife Amy, tried to seduce Jedediah into a sexy wife-swapping session that Jedediah did not appreciate.
So she wanted her old man and her boss to swap wives. Old Jedediah Springfield, he ain't going for it, is he? He must be one of them pilgrims.
No, when that happened, when Mags was like right by us, and then on the couch, Mags was like, if y'all start making out, maybe Jed will get into my husband, into the idea. And when we started making out, Jed was like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was a conversation the next day about, I thought Jed was down for this, and you were like, yeah, no.
Yeah. I thought me and my husband have had a threesome before, so I didn't know if it was gonna, like, I didn't think he'd have an issue with.
Hall also admitted that she tried to get Jedediah involved in a threesome with Sergeant Ty McGowan and his wife, but the conversation was quickly dismissed. Megan tried to defend herself by stating she only had sex with Lugo at a hotel after the pair met at a venue she recalled as a Go Fun USA. This was outside work premises.
Man, you gotta watch having them threesomes, man, because you don't know who you come bringing in. You know, you gotta set it up beforehand. So, you know, you gotta have a measurement contest beforehand.
And hours and wasn't a complete violation of the law. However, her hookup with Shields took place in the weight room at a police gym. Quote, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse there, but there wasn't a sexual act that took place in the gym according to you. You gave a hand job, a confused investigator questioned. Yeah, it wasn't a blowjob, was Hall's explanation. Andrew went on to ask, do you have a foot fetish? Do you send pictures of your feet to people?
Ty does a foot fetish.
Place on.
She must draw the line at
after
them.
work, at your own pace.
For pictures of your feet. Did you send pictures of your feet to Seneca?
I know I didn't try.
Hall had also confessed that she slept with McGowan on 2 occasions, the first night after she had just taken her psych exam prior to having been sworn in for her $53,000 per year police job. But no one would have expected what we're about to reveal to you next. Remember that initial whistleblower who reported Megan? The source of this was from the very culprit who started this scandal, Mr. McGowan. While he freely threw all of his colleagues' sexcapades under the bus, McGowan did not disclose his own romps with Hall and later even denied them. Which brings us to the question, what consequences did these officers endure for breaking the vows that they swore to the public and to their state? Megan Hall was fired from the department immediately for having sexual relations with her officers. McGowan was also fired for being dishonest and hiding vital information with the inquiry. Magliocco escaped with a suspension, and so did Patrol Officer Gavin Schulberl, who swapped naked pics with Hall. Whereas Patrol Officer Juan Lugo and Sergeant Seneca Shields also lost their jobs in this vicious scandal. These firings and disciplinary measures meant that La Verne, a population of 39,000 individuals, lost around 12% of its police manpower overnight because of one irresponsible female officer. But just like any story, this tale also has two sides, with one side battling that Megan was just a disloyal wife and officer with no morals. Megan had a different story to tell. Hall believes that she was a victim and prey of the La Verne Police Department.
Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at as a piece of meat.
Don't tell me she's gonna say she was great.
Megan was the only woman officer on the second shift and felt unsafe and exploited in her work environment.
I remember while
you can't call great when it's done. You 6 men done got in.
While interviewing for the position at La Verne Police Department, they described the environment as a family. However, while I was aspiring to protect my community, the Laverne Police Department was not protecting me.
She took accountability for her actions, but explained that the situation wasn't as simple as it seemed on paper. Despite all the sexual acts being consensual and none coerced, there were clear instances where she felt manipulated to give in to the superiority of the male officers.
I know what most people are saying. You know, you could have said no. I get it. But my response to them is that I did say no, and he wouldn't take it for an answer. Eventually, I gave in from pressure.
So it's not as easy to say she could have just said no.
She did say no
If
on
she
several
did say
occasions.
no, and
Miss
then
Hall
that-
tried to get out of this relationship.
They wouldn't take no for an
And
answer. Now that pushing
she
the
was not
line, and
allowed
she
to.
should have.
She filed a
She
federal
should have blew
civil
the
rights
whistle.
lawsuit against the department and her former co-workers. The lawsuit claims that the officers colluded in using their authority to systemically harm her resistance and entrap her in degrading and abusive sexual relationships, even sharing tips on the best ways to manipulate and exploit her. Megan Hall felt trapped in the role assigned to her at the City of Laverne Police Department, and in an attempt to escape, she nearly killed herself, the lawsuit further added. When details about the lawsuit were discussed further, it was evident that there were clear incidents of manipulation and psychological coercion. When Sergeant Powell wanted sex, he refused to take no for an answer. He continued demanding
to be
sex,
stand
saying things
accountable
like,
for that,
"We'll
then."
do it tomorrow," or "I've done so much for you. I've helped you, and I've done so much for you in your personal life." Such a sexually coercive environment on the second shift at the Laverne Police Department triggered increasingly severe symptoms of mental illness in Megan. However, the damage has been done, and there is no one who can act like a victim in this scenario. But it does appear that Megan had it a lot worse than her male counterparts in this case. She most definitely did not deserve the harassment and the hate that she received.
My thoughts on this case, man, if she was really taken advantage of like she claimed she was, she probably could have blew a whistle, and I feel sorry for the lady. Now, before we go on to this next one's a little bit different. This lady got caught bringing drugs in, selling drugs, making it easier to get drugs, fentanyl to be exact.
Shocking revelation that happened in March 2023. Joanne Marion Segovia, 64 years old, who held the position of executive director at the San Jose Police Officers Association, was ensnared in a federal criminal complaint. The accusation? Her alleged involvement in the illicit importation of synthetic opioids, with a focus on a notorious synthetic opioid responsible for the ongoing overdose crisis in the United States. This unfolding drama is part of an extensive investigation led by Homeland Security, targeting a complex network engaging in the smuggling of controlled substances into the San Francisco Bay Area from overseas. The case brims with intricate details, underscoring the gravity of the situation and the efforts to bring those involved to justice. Joanne Marion Segovia's web of deception and illegal activities began to unravel in February, when she faced the scrutiny of federal investigators. Despite the mounting pressure, she shockingly continued to order controlled substances, even after her initial interview. In the subsequent interview on March 14th, Segovia resorted to a desperate tactic, attempting to shift blame onto her housekeeper for the incriminating packages, WhatsApp messages, and cash transactions. It was a move that investigators saw through, labeling her responses as false information. Using both personal and office computers, she orchestrated the delivery of thousands of opioid and other pills straight to her home address. Shockingly, she didn't stop there and allegedly agreed to distribute these drugs throughout the United States.
This lady's gotta be drunk, high, smoking crack or something. She just keeps ordering it. And where do you get to order this from? Where do you get to order car fentanyl and regular fentanyl, and what's the difference and who cares? But how is she getting to order this stuff this easily?
Over a span of several years, from October 2015 to January, Segovia oversaw a staggering 61 shipments to her residence. The packages were sent from overseas, including Hong Kong, Hungary, India, and Singapore. The clandestine nature of these shipments is particularly noteworthy, as the manifests cunningly described their contents with labels like wedding party favors, gift makeup, or chocolate and sweets in a bid to slip under the radar. However, between July 2019 and January 2023, the authorities managed to intercept and unveil the truth behind 5 of these shipments, exposing thousands of pills of controlled substances. This alarming discovery included synthetic opioids such as tramadol and tapentadol, with certain parcels valued at thousands of dollars worth of illegal drugs. Segovia's intricate operations left a digital footprint. The use of encrypted WhatsApp communications revealed an array of discussions regarding the logistics of receiving and sending pill shipments. In these exchanges numbering in the hundreds, Segovia corresponded with an individual using a phone bearing an India country code. Their conversations delved into the minute of shipping details and the financial arrangements for the illicit pills. A criminal complaint merely alleges that crimes have been committed, and like all defendants, Segovia is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. As of April 8, 2023, she was fired from her job. If convicted, Segovia faces a maximum statutory sentence of 20 years. In addition, as part of any sentence, the court may order the defendant to serve at least 3 years of supervised release and pay a fine of up to $250,000. An outside investigator was also hired to conduct a comprehensive no-holds-barred probe of Segovia's alleged crimes to determine to what extent she utilized union resources and whether that could have been prevented.
Well, I'm going to end it there. I want y'all to leave it in the comment section. Let me know which one of these bad cops do you think was the worst? Which one do you think needed to go to jail for more time, and which ones you need to think that they need a lot of counseling? Drop it in the comment section below. Make sure you like one of these videos up here because they're funny and they'll get you through your day. And remember, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.